They say rock and roll never dies, but farewell tours sure do. The Who just announced the Song Is Over tour, supposedly their final bow, sparking deja vu among fans who vividly recall the band's last tour back in 1982. It's become a recurring act in rock history. Iconic bands bidding dramatic farewells only to return, sometimes louder and prouder than before. From Kiss to Mötley Crüe to David Lee Roth, who at 70 is back on stage in full strut. The question lingers, is any farewell in rock ever really final? Now look, the legendary duo of Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, an amazing band, The Who, with incredible songs. And Roger Daltrey says this: every musician's dream in the early 60s was to make it big in the U.S. charts. For The Who, that dream came true in 1967, and our lives were changed forever. The warmth of the American audiences over the years have been inspirational to me and reflect the feeling I remember getting after hearing the first rock records coming from across the radio. Musical freedom. Rock gave us a feeling of generational rebellion. To me, America has always been great. The cultural differences had a huge impact on me. This was the land of the possible. It's not easy to end the big part of my life that touring with The Who has been. Thanks for being there for us, and look forward to seeing you one last time. Pete Townsend added, well, all good things must come to an end. It is a poignant time. For me, playing to American audiences and those in Canada has always been incredible. The warmth and engagement of those audiences began back in 1967 with hippies smoking blank, sitting on their blankets and listening deeply and intensely. Music was everywhere. We all felt equal. Today, Roger and I still carry the banner of the late Keith Moon and John Entwistle, and of course, all of our longtime Who fans. I must say that although the road has not always been enjoyable for me, it is usually easy, the best job I could ever have had. I keep coming back. Every time I do, I meet new fans and feel new energy. Roger and I are in a good place despite our age, eager to throw our weight behind this fond farewell to our faithful fans and hopefully to new ones who might jump in to see what they have been missing for the last 57 years. This tour will be about fond memories, love, and laughter. Make sure you join in. Okay, that's a pretty incredible statement, and I like that he added Keith Moon and John Entwistle to that statement. The reality is this, man. This is a tour, and I'm looking at it. It starts in Sunrise, Florida, August 16th, and ends September 28th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a total of 16 dates over the course of 2 months. Mid-August, the tour starts, and it ends at the end of September. So this is a short month and a half run. And look, man, these guys are way up there in age. And the reality is, man, touring is a very difficult thing, man. And here's the reality. There's a lot of fan skepticism on this because, man, I noticed in the tour announcement that there were people in the comments just repeatedly saying, I saw them on their last farewell tour in 1982. Well, look, man, a band really has no idea how much longevity they have. And look, imagine walking away. It's an incredibly hard thing to walk away from the music business. Music is a part of our souls, right? So it was kind of wild that they, even would say in 1982 that would be the final tour. But man, the reality is, with Keith Moon gone, it's like it's an impossible guy to try to replace, right? Huge loss in the band. And, Frankly, in 1982, it might have felt like a final tour that maybe they were all going to go off and do different things. But the looming possibility of going out there and cranking up those power chords and that big kerrang one last time, man, it's tempting. It's always tempting for all musicians. Man, the phone could ring for me to go do something tomorrow, and I might decide, oh, okay, I'll get off this bench for a while. I'll get off this broadcast, and I'll go rock for a little while. Come back, baby, rock and roll never forgets, right? People are skeptical because the Who's previous final tours in 1982, 1989, and probably every tour after that. Here's the deal, man. You don't know how much time you have left on the planet. You can think, 82 it'll be the final tour, and you think, oh, well, I'll probably live another 10 years. And here they are, still alive. You still have bills to pay. The reason why they're still going? Well, they've got a huge musical legacy, but there's also a demand for it, right? They wouldn't be able to go and play if they couldn't sell tickets. And that's the reality of it. And also the reality is we all need cash, right? Why is David Lee Roth coming out of retirement at 70 years old and putting on his leather pants and going out there and strutting across the stage? We all need a cash infusion. That is the reality of it. Or maybe they just love playing. It's a hard thing to walk away from the spotlight. It's a hard thing to walk away from that life where people are looking at you and paying attention to you. Because as an old person, each day that passes, less and less heads turn your way. You could be the most best looking person on the planet. Once you step off that stage and that time catches up with you, and look at Pam Anderson these days. Everybody's ragging on her because she got a haircut. Man, it's not easy getting old. And when you're a performer, when you're a show horse, you want to trot out on that stage and show those young kids how it's done. Maybe that's what's motivating the Who. The irony of naming the new tour The Song Is Over. Could it mean that there's more dates down the road? Maybe a handful of dates. Because after all, and this is what I thought the minute I heard the title of this tour, The Song Is Over. Well, the song is always over at some point, right? But that doesn't mean the show is over, right? A song can end, and you can always play a new one. I find it hard to believe that they're going to end it all here, but you know what? You never know. You never know when someone's last show will be. I don't think Elvis thought he had played his last show the day he did, but the reality is the song was over. The show was over for him when it happened, right? But the reality is this. There's a hall of fame of fake goodbyes, and that is why fans are skeptical, right? Kiss are the kings of farewell since 2000. How many years did their farewell tour go on? They did multiple farewell tours, right? Mötley Crüe signed a cessation contract, then blew it up, right? Cher, Elton John, even Jay-Z have all had farewell tours and then come back and played more. And David Lee Roth, who said he retired, 5 years ago or something? His recent re-emergence at 70, and he's going back out on the road. But the question is this: why do artists keep coming back? And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people in the comments. Let me know what they think. And look, yes, financial incentives in an era of declining album sales. There's no more checks. There's no more mailbox money coming in for album sales. Everybody's just streaming. That pays peanuts. Peanuts. Even if you've got a catalog like The Who or Van Halen or Mötley Crüe or one of these huge legacy acts that gets plays every day, guaranteed plays, right? For all these songs we grew up hearing, there's no money in that. We all have to pay our bills, right? We all have a light bill. We all have a mortgage. We all got car payments. We've all got all of these things. So you cannot deny the financial incentive, because ultimately, man, cash is king. Now look, there's an emotional draw to this. Artists struggle to truly leave the stage. Somebody like David Lee Roth is probably not even happy unless he is on stage, unless he is out there doing his thing. And that's what it's like to be a show horse. Man, it's no fun just sitting in the barn all day. Sometimes you just got to go out there, get back out there, and start trotting again. That is the reality of this. And here's the deal, man. Maybe with the recent firing and rehiring of Zach Starkey, maybe that's given a jolt to the Who legacy. It's an emotional draw. Fans are demanding. There's nostalgia. There's the Who have been in the press of late. That was a huge video on my channel talking about Zach Starkey, drummer for the Who and son of Ringo Starr, getting fired. Maybe that's fired this up. Maybe people talking about, not my video per se, but people talking about that event being a huge, huge thing in the music news. Maybe that's fueled this. And look, there's the cultural mythos of the comeback, right? Whether it was Muhammad Ali back in the day, or Michael Jordan, or any of our heroes, right? Musical heroes. You know, Elvis with the 68 comeback. Elvis may have had the greatest comeback in history in 1968. Let me know what you think in the comments. But, man, you know, Elvis took all that time off the stage and all of a sudden put on that black leather and came out there and showed them all how it was done, right? What did that lead to? That led to years and years on the road and the toll that took on his body and his well-being. It's tough out there, man. It's tough. Look, you might hate the road when you're out there, but then when you're not out there, you miss it. It's the one thing calling you back is the stage. And look, man, not everybody's comeback is as great as Elvis's 68 comeback special. For most people, it's, you know, things like the Mötley Crüe going out there and the vocalist maybe not doing the greatest job, or people ragging on David Lee Roth because he can't hit the high screams anymore. He can't do the kicks anymore. And that is the reality, perhaps the mythos of the comeback. What does a farewell tour really mean? It's the difference between marketing and reality. They're going to market it as something great, but the reality might be something else. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. How do fans interpret these tours? Is it bittersweet or skeptical? There seems to be a lot of skepticism. If you read the comments, whether it's David Lee Roth or The Who or anybody else. But look, man, I think we're all lucky to be able to go see these people. If you want to go see The Who, go see The Who. If you want to go see David Lee Roth, go see David Lee Roth, because these stars are not going to be around forever, right? But you have to question, how do these tours, how do these farewell tours affect the legacy and the authenticity? Will this time be different? Look, people, there's speculation on the Who's physical ability and intent. Look, aging rock stars in a youth-driven industry, it's a tough thing to be, to go out there and try to live up to the legend, right? Will Pete go out there and windmill one last time? Let's hope they all have a great tour and they have great memories and give the fans what they want. Is there ever really a right time to quit? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Now, in the end, farewell tours are less about endings and more about moments, epic, emotional, and often fleeting. Whether the Who truly closes curtain after the song is over or finds another encore down the road, fans will show up, sing along, and savor what might be one last dance. Because in rock and roll, the goodbye is just another riff waiting to resolve, and sometimes the song is never really over.